Musta mga kapatid, mga kababayan ko, mga kapatid ko dito po sa Malaysia, especially dito po sa Sabah. Ito po si Nico Fabian, nandito na naman tayo sa programa natin, Nick Talk, na Real Talk with Nico. And ngayon, Sabado ngayon, and it's October 11, no? Bukas is October 12. And bukas is Sunday. Huwag natin kalimutan ang mga obligasyon natin. Ha? Bukas, especially ang those who are embracing the Roman Catholic faith as well as sa mga Kristiyano po. May obligasyon tayo every Sunday na dapat na we have to make sure that we do our religious obligations. No? Bukas yun. No? Bukas yun. And of course, sana okay din ang mga overseas Filipino workers natin na sa iba-ibang parte ng mundo. Dahil po itong Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico, nandito ngayon to give you ang mga latest developments tungkol what is happening dyan po sa Pilipinas. At least, ang mga kababayan ko dito sa Sabah, you will be able to know kung ano talaga ang mga latest developments tungkol mga happenings, mga activities, no? Sa Pilipinas or sa bayan natin. Sa bayan natin. Maaga tayo ngayon dahil I want to give you the latest updates regarding ang sitwasyon ng lindol, no? Ng lindol na experience ang mga kababayan natin dyan po sa Davao Oriental. So far, mayroon na tayong based on official report coming from the national media and mga media dyan po sa Davao, local media sa Davao, mayroon na a total of 8 tao na po namatay sa dalawang earthquake that happened yesterday dyan po sa Davao Oriental. Isa is magnitude 7.5 and the other one, yung aftershock. Aftershock po, ang magnitude nag-register 6.7. 6.7. 6.7. Malakas pa rin. And dahil dyan sa tremor, sa lindol, mayroon na po namatay, 8 tao na po namatay dyan sa Davao Oriental. Let's not forget, I would like to pass our sincere condolences galing sa Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico, galing sa mga kababayan ko dito po sa Sabah, as well ang pamilya ko dito sa Sabah. We would like to extend our deepest condolence to the families of those who lost ang mga loved ones nila dyan sa lindol sa Davao Oriental. During ang programa natin today, kasi maaga tayo, I will be I will be sharing with you some video clips tungkol sa report ng latest updates tungkol sa lindol or sa earthquake. And I will be touching also a little bit on ang flash report natin kagabi o kahapon, late afternoon na kahapon, na ay reported na na-turn down na po, no? Na-turn down ang request or appeal ng lawyer ni Tatay Digong dyan po sa Netherlands or dyan po sa The Hague o dyan po sa International Criminal Court, no? They turned down or they did not allow or they rejected an appeal ni Tatay Digong, yung appeal niya for interim release, no? Temporary freedom, or kung sa atin pa yon sa Pilipinas, we call it house arrest. Ibig sabihin, si Tatay Digong will continue to be detained at the detention center of itong International Criminal Court or ICC. Wala tayong magawa dahil doon po ang desisyon ng ICC, mga judges ng ICC. Mayroon silang mga rason, they gave why they decided no to the appeal, interim appeal of Tatay Digong. And of course, as expected, it was also refuted by the defense team, lawyers ni Tatay Digong. And of course, dahil sa notisya na yun po, hindi masaya ang mga followers or mga supporters ni Tatay Digong. As well as on the other hand, medyo masaya ang mga supporters ng kalaban ni Tatay Digong. But anyway, that is not the end of the battle. Hindi pa tapos ang storya po. I was made to understand and it was officially announced that ang ICC will also be looking seriously on appointing 3 medical experts to assess ang condition ni Tatay Digong, whether he is still fit to attend or to be trialed dyan po sa ICC court or not. In the event, he will not be, he is no longer fit dahil po sa age niya, dahil po sa medical problems niya po, because he's already 80 years old and at the same time, medyo mahina na ang isipan niya po, no? So, if it will be found positive or affirmative na hindi na siya fit, then siguro po we will see the return of Tatay Digong po, no? Tatay Digong, either he will ang kaso niya will be thrown out, or siguro po they will give him a chance, no? To have a house arrest muna po, to cool down ang situation. So ibig sabihin the fight is not yet over. Let us continue to pray. And we were made to understand, I was made to understand based on mga messages dyan po sa social media, ang mga Filipinos ang The Hague, tuloy pa rin. They confirm and assured that tuloy pa rin ang gatherings ng mga Filipino dyan sa outside the detention center of Tatay Digong until Tatay Digong will be released or will gain back his freedom. Gain back his freedom. Left and right ang sabihin natin criticism of mixed reaction coming from different sectors ng Filipino society. Both sa Pilipinas at saka dito po sa overseas mga Filipinos nagtrabaho sa iba-ibang parte ng mundo. Or, in other words, kami po, mga overseas Filipino workers. And later on, I would like to invite you again to stick with me hanggang matapos itong programa dahil po, I will be sharing with you, I'm going to share with you ang interview ni itong very, hindi naman controversial, but a very hot na congressman, neophyte congressman, bata pa ito po, congressman po. And the way he talks, my sense po, but some they thought he is crazy. He is crazy. But if you look at him, every time he opens his mouth, may putos, my sense po, no? My sense, hindi, walang sense po when he open his mouth. As a congressman, dyan po sa 20th na Congress, natin sa House of Representatives. May interview yun po si very popular also po, no? Newscaster and of course commentator si Corina Sanchez Rojas. And nag-interview siya po kay Congressman Kiko Barzaga. Maganda po ang interview and that's why I am inviting all of you, kung may time pa kayo po, stick sa programa natin hanggang matapos itong program natin today dahil you will learn a lot of things from bakit ganon ang body language, ang salita ni Congressman Kiko Barzaga. But bago yan mga issue na yan po, I want to share with you, I will share with you itong video clip tungkol kay saan ito, Hold on. Tungkol ang report, ang report po tungkol saan ba ito? Ang ICC, ang desisyon ng ICC. So let's listen, let's listen to this report and at the same time after itong video clip that I'm going to share, mayroon din tayong video clip that I have prepared. Nag-record din ako po ang reaksyon ng kapatid ni Tatay Digong po dyan po sa The Hague o dyan po outside the detention center when he visited his brother, si Tatay Digong, our former President of the Philippines, Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Nandito po ang video clip ng report about the ICC decision.
Former President Rodrigo Duterte will remain at the ICC Detention Center in The Hague, the Netherlands. This is the order of the pretrial chamber after denying his request for an interim release. In its 23-page decision, the pretrial chamber laid out 5 grounds for its decision. First, the court ruled that the former president is a flight risk, likely to evade proceedings based on his camp's repeated claims that the ICC has no jurisdiction. This includes statements calling his arrest kidnapping. The court also referenced Vice President Sara Duterte's Facebook Live remarks about jailbreaking her father. The court also found that Duterte could intimidate or interfere with witnesses based on his history of threatening critics and those who testify against him. The judges said there is strong possibility that Duterte could reoffend, citing his own statements during the last election campaign. The court also ruled that there are not enough humanitarian grounds to justify his temporary release, saying he is receiving adequate medical care inside the detention center. The pretrial chamber said Duterte's detention is necessary to ensure his attendance at hearings and the fair conduct of his case. Vice President Sara Duterte has not issued a statement yet. Under the Rome Statute and ICC Rules of Procedure and Evidence, the defense has the right to appeal the decision before the appeals chamber. Lawyers representing the victim say they will continue to strongly oppose it. The court is also expected to rule soon on the defense's challenge to ICC jurisdiction and its motion for an indefinite adjournment of proceedings, which would halt all hearings, including the confirmation of charges.
Hindi pa tapos ito dahil ang panawagan, i-reiterate namin, ay mag-convene ang mga pretrial chamber na ng confirmation of charges hearing.
The Office of Public Counsel for Victims, or OPCV, which represents victims in the case, has formally opposed the defense's request to suspend the proceedings due to Duterte's alleged cognitive impairment. In its response, the OPCV insisted that the defense's motion to suspend the case against Duterte should be dismissed, warning that granting such a request would effectively kill the case. The OPCV stressed that justice and accountability for the gravest crimes, including crimes against humanity, depend on the continuation of proceedings. The OPCV urged the pretrial chamber to avoid delays and to have Duterte's health assessed by independent medical experts. A short list of 5 experts has been submitted by the ICC registry to the pretrial chamber. Both the prosecution and the OPCV agree that a medical panel composed of a forensic psychiatrist, a neuropsychologist, and a behavioral neurologist should examine the former president without delay. Sen Hernandez, ABS-CBN News.
Okay, yun ang report ng ABS-CBN News dyan po sa Pilipinas today, no? In fact, ang news lumabas na ito po kahapon pa, no? At 5-something, I saw the news coming from international media, no? Wherein they announced itong decision ng ICC kahapon. And if you remember, immediately after I saw the breaking news po, I immediately informed ang mga kababayan natin dito po sa Sabah, no? Sa Sabah. So for those hindi pa alam po na turned down na po, no? Rejected na ang appeal of interim release of Tatay Digong. In other words, yun house arrest. Kung sa Pilipinas yun po, we call it house arrest, no? House arrest. Despite, I don't know, kung ang Malacanang also forwarded ang unanimous resolution made by the Senate, no? May ang mga senators natin po last week, wherein they voted 15 voted for affirmative, 15 senators affirmative, tatlong rejected or voted no or negative po. sa resolution and dalawang nag-abstain, no? So, sino-sino yung nag-abstain? Si Senate President Tito Soto and si Senator Raffy Tulfo. Those who voted for no ang resolution asking for reconsideration on the house arrest of Tatay Digong dyan po sa ICC. No? Those who voted for no ay si Senator Risa Taveros, Senator Kiko Pangilinan, and Senator Bam Aquino. The rest, lahat sila, they voted for yes vote. Ibig sabihin, based on humanitarian reason, at the age of 80, considering that Tatay Digong is already 80 years old and weak na siya po, sana magbigay ang ICC ng house arrest kay Tatay Digong. And this was made officially through a resolution unanimously voted by the senators. But despite of that, siguro late na yun po, no? Dahil based on the reports that we received yesterday, ang ICC made the decision last September 26 pa po. And it's only yesterday, Friday, October 10, na ang ICC decided to release or announce ang decision ng mga judges, no? Tungkol sa appeal of Tatay Digong on the interim release. Okay, the question is whether Tatay Digong knows about this, ang decision ng ICC. Kasi nandoon siya sa loob ng detention center. Alam na ba ni Tatay Digong or hindi? Nandito po ang video clip that will show to us about whether si Tatay Digong is aware of the decision or he's not aware of the decision. Listen carefully po sa statement made by the brother of Tatay Digong, si Sir Bong, when he was interviewed after he visited si Tatay Digong dyan po sa detention center sa The Hague. Nandito, let's listen to this. Hold on, Let's listen to this. Asan na yun? Alright, let's listen to this.
I know that you learned about the decision of the court rejecting the motion for interim release. How do you feel about that?
Very disappointed. Actually, I did not mention that.
Because you're also not allowed to mention it.
He mentioned it. And I said, sorry to you hear about it, but it's prepared. But it's okay.
But Sir Bong, the supporters of the former president remains hopeful because the defense team submitted their appeal to the appeals chamber and waiting for the decision, sir.
Yeah. So, ang pakiusap ko lang, let us continue the move for, bring also pressure to this, an 80-year-old man.
It's not worth to be inside there.
Consider his human rights also.
Correct, sir.
Pero sir, non-admittedly sir, we will stay here until ma-release na natin.
So, again,
Hanggang sa dulo.
salamat sa support ninyo. Sige lang, baka dumating din ang panahon na babalik tayo.
Sir Bong, on October 12, nanawagan po si Congressman Barzaga sa lahat ng mga kababayan natin na lumabas at makilahok at pumunta sa iba't ibang lokasyon para ipakita ang dissent nila sa nangyari sa bansa. What's your message to the Filipino?
Yes, we should now give our best effort to pressure the government, the dark regime. So, yung October 12 na yan, that will be probably the opening salvo. At sana magtuloy-tuloy na yan because, wala na tayong makuha dito sa gobyerno ni BBM. It's either he just graceful exit, but whatever. But ang mga tao na ang dapat mag-effort na talaga dyan, it has to end.
Maraming salamat po, sir.
Okay, yan pa. Narinig natin po ang kapatid ni Tatay Digong, si Mr. Bong, after he visited, nagbisita siya po sa kapatid niya dyan po sa detention center sa The Hague, sa ICC. At sabi na po, he didn't mention tungkol sa desisyon ng ICC to his brother, si Tatay Digong. But si Tatay Digong mismo po, sinabi sa kanya po na he is aware, alam niya po ang desisyon ng ICC. See? So if you remember mga previous statements ni Tatay Digong when he was still the president of the Philippines from 2016 hanggang mid of 2022, no? Now he keep on saying that walang problema if he will be rotten dyan po sa ICC detention center dahil po sabi niya po what he did was not for his own volition or his own sabihin natin na selfish intention, but what he did when he carried out itong campaign against drug abuse or illegal drugs dyan sa Pilipinas, he did it for the country. He did it, ginawa niya yun po para sa kabutihan ng bayan natin, bayan ng Pilipinas, kabutihan sa mga bata, no? Sa mga bata po, who will be the future leaders of the country and for the generations and generations to come. Dahil, sabi ni Tatay Digong, if drugs, illegal drugs, will not, the problem of illegal drugs will not be addressed immediately po, no? And there is a big possibility that the Philippines will be a narco country po, no? Kasi grabe na po ang sabihin natin ang problema ng droga dyan sa Pilipinas, So he did even mention to his brother na he's worried or tungkol sa decision ng ICC, no? But knowing him, he's so brave enough and ang konsensya na po is wala siyang sabihin natin negative conscience, no, for what he has done, and he believes that he did the thing for the sake of the country, for the sake of the Filipinos po, especially yon the generation, the younger generations and the generations to come. Yon po. No? Yon po. So, alright, shoutout muna tayo kay Noel Flores Dingson. Sabi niya, good morning po, Sir Nico, and to all our kababayans dito sa Sabah, particularly dito sa Kota Kinabalu. Ipagdasal natin ang mga nangyayari, kalamidad ngayon sa Pilipinas. Yes, let us not forget to continue on praying. Itong grupo ni Brother Noel, every day now, during weekends, one house they are visiting to recite ang rosary. Rosary during the month of October, because the month of October is dedicated as a rosary month para sa mga believers ng Roman Catholic faith, ang mga Kristiyano po. So during weekends, they visit as much as 2 to 3 houses po, but the weekends, one house a day lang sila po dahil may trabaho pa. May trabaho pa. So welcome tayo sa kanila, and let us also pray, mga kababayan ko dito sa Malaysia, dito sa Sabah. Let us also pray for the safety po dahil they are doing this thing para sa ating lahat. Because sila at tayo po, we believe is only through prayers that things will change. Things will change. Yan po. So saludo ako sa grupo ni Brother Noel, ang Immaculate Conception Filipino Prayer Group. No? Kunti lang sila po, but they are committed and dedicated po to bring the message of our God Almighty sa mga kapwang kapatid natin sa reliyon at saka lahat sa mga Filipinos po. And they also keep on praying for the safety and speedy recovery of all the flood victims sa Pilipinas, ang victims of earthquake sa Pilipinas, especially dyan sa Cebu at saka sa Davao. And of course, ang mga flood victims din po sa Pilipinas po. And of course, for the safety and peace of the Philippines, of Malaysia, and peace on earth. Okay. So, ganun po, no? That's the latest regarding ang mga Filipino prayer group natin po, ang grupo ni Brother Noel Flores Tingson. Alright? So, next in line, mayroon tayo po dito, ha? Next in line po. Next in line ang ano natin, ang issue natin tungkol sa, I don't know if I can get, hold on, tingnan natin. If makukuha pa rin natin ang some reaction regarding itong ano ito sa desisyon ng ICC. Meron dito nakita ko kahapon, kagabi, ang reaction ni former secretary si Attorney Harry Roque. We will see kung meron pa ba tayo dito. But anyway, okay. In the meantime po, I would like to share with you itong news tungkol sa earthquake, no? Already 8 killed in aftermath of 2 severe quakes of Davao Oriental. Ito po ang report. Kanina I showed you ang video clip, and this time around, I would like to read ang news article published dyan po sa Philstar sa Pilipinas. 2 strong quakes struck off Davao towns on Friday, killing at least 8 people and triggering tsunami warnings. The biggest of the quakes, with a magnitude of 7.5, hit about 20 kilometers or 12 miles of Manay, Davao Oriental in the Mindanao region just before 10 a.m. To be exact, it was reported, it was something like 9:43 yesterday po, according to the United States Geological Survey. And aftershock with a magnitude of 6.7 rocked the same area almost 10 hours later. One of scores that followed the morning quake. Ano ito? Aftershock ito mo, no? Aftershock. So, ang aftershock reported was 6.7 magnitude. 3 miners tunneling for gold were killed when a shaft collapsed in the mountainous west of Manay during the larger quake. Rescue officials Ken Simeon of Pantukan town told AFP. One miner was pulled out alive and several others were injured in the remote hamlet of Gumayan, he said. Some tunnels collapsed, but the miners managed to get out, Simeon said. One person was killed in Mati City when a wall collapsed, while 2 others suffered fatal heart attack, city disaster official Charlie Min Bangasol told AFP. Another person was crushed by falling debris in Davao City, more than 100 kilometers west of the epicenter, police said. A third heart attack victim died in the town of Monte Vista. Provincial disaster official Edgar Dayanghirang told reporters. Philippine authorities issued tsunami warnings shortly after the morning quake, as well as for early evening one, ordering evacuations along the eastern seaboard through although no big waves have been monitored. The Pacific Tsunami Warning Center lifted its own alert for the Philippines, Palau, and Indonesia at around noon. Yesterday. Yan po ang latest updates or news lumabas po dyan sa Pilipinas tungkol sa earthquake kahapon. Dalawa yun po, Davao. First, 7.5 and the aftershock is 6.7. 6.7. Yun po ang nangyari. So huwag natin kalimutan po to continue to pray for their safety, no? And speedy recovery of those who lost their loved ones and lost their properties po, no? And I was made to understand, nandyan na po ang mga assistance from the government, and engineers are inspecting all the structures dyan po sa Manay Town or Manay Municipality. So, anything, kung mayroon tayong mga latest developments, I will make sure itong Nick Talk, the Real Talk with Nico, ang programa natin, I will make sure that you will be properly informed. So, this time around, I would like to share with you ang interview ni Corina Sanchez Rojas kay Congressman Kiko Barzaga. Popular na ito ngayon si Kiko Barzaga. Some they were saying na crazy, no? Others were saying hindi, dahil when he opened his mouth, he talk sense. He talk sense po. Yun lang talaga ang style. He's a neophyte congressman. And masking kanino po, he don't care. When he opened his mouth, kung who will be hit, for him, wala siyang pakialam dahil po, he is fighting against corruption sa Pilipinas po. And he's doing it for the sake of ang bayan natin, for the sake ang Filipino nation natin po. Saludo din. But mayroon din mga congressmen, they are now contemplating ba yun? Or soon will be filing complaint sa Committee on Ethics. Ethics po dyan sa House of Representatives about the attitude, body language of Congressman Kiko Barzaga, otherwise known as Kong Meow. Kong Meow po, no? Why? Because he has the, sabihin natin, fear of itong mga cats, mga, ano ba yun, cats sa Tagalog, pusa. Pusa po, no? Ang mga pusa. So, nandito, let's listen to this interview. And this, you will know what kind of a person si Congressman Kiko Barzaga. Nandito po. Let's listen. Huwag kayo alis. Maganda ito po, no? This is very good for you. At this, you will get to know kung sino talaga si Congressman Kiko Barzaga. And at the same time, you will know kung you judge kung crazy ba siya o hindi. Kung crazy ba siya o hindi. If you ask me, sa akin po, okay siya po. Okay siya po. No? The way how I look at him, the way he talks, my sense po, my puntos every time he opens his mouth, my puntos talaga po. And maybe it is because he's also frustrated, disappointed of what is happening dyan po sa Pilipinas. Kagaya natin po, mga mahirap. Na galit tayo ngayon dahil ang pera natin, taxpayers money natin, pumunta lang po sa mga tao na walang konsensya. Mga corrupt politicians, mga corrupt government officials, mga corrupt contractors natin. And hindi lang yan po, no? When we talk about the corruption sa Pilipinas, we are not talking about a few hundreds or few thousands or few million. We are talking about billions, if not trillions of taxpayers' money na wala po. It only went to these irresponsible, greedy individuals who are enjoying life at the expense of the Filipinos. Masakit lang po. That is the reason why karamihan ng mga Filipino po, we are now shouting, ikulong ang mga korap. Ibalik whatever they stole from us. And ipakita, be transparent. Ang gobyerno natin must be transparent to whatever investigation, ongoing investigation they are doing ngayon po. No? Why? Because we don't trust the system anymore ng gobyerno. So the only way for ang gobyerno to gain back the trust of the public is make it transparent. Whatever investigation you are doing, open it to the public. But as of the moment, ang desisyon ng newly established Independent Commission for Infrastructure, which was formed by no less than the President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr., no? Ang desisyon nila po is confidential secret hearing. Confidential secret hearing. Which, galit na galit po ang mga Filipinos. Anyway, dito muna tayo kay Congressman Kiko Barzaga. Nandito po. Let's watch and listen to this interview.
Ano? Is that your... Pinapanindigan mo talaga yun?
Yung political slogan ko, yung iba di ba may mga, ano sila, may mga tagline sila. Yung sa akin,
Ganon. Okay, so naiintindihan na yan ng constituency mo.
well, yung mga pusa doon naiintindihan nila, pero yung mga tao hindi ko masyado.
Hindi masyado. Pero, sa kagaganyan mo, you were elected into office.
Yes.
Oo. Na walang daya. Sino ba ang kalaban mo? I guess,
Mga, go ahead.
no, I guess, malakas ka talaga or malakas yung ugong ng inyong apelyido doon.
Siguro yun din yun, kasama din yun. Kasi, nung tumakbo ako for Congress, 6 years na akong incumbent city councilor. Tapos yung mga kalaban ko naman, wala man masyado kasi kadalasan yung mga nakakalaban ko for city council, for Congress, mga lagi nang tumatakbo doon, tapos nanatalo sila. So every 3 years nag-iipon sila and
Okay.
wasting their money.
Okay. Well,
They're trying.
okay. What do you think about political dynasties? Because I think many of your family members are in office. Not that it's illegal, of course it's totally legal. Kaya nga nakaupo sila ngayon. Pero what do you think about that?
Well, its legality is actually a controversial topic because as per the Constitution, the Constitution is as a stance against political dynasty, but it's not it does not enact upon itself. So it needs an implementing law from Congress which does not exist. Kaya technically, unconstitutional, it can be considered unconstitutional in a way, pero it's only unconstitutional if there's already a law that states that it's not allowed. And it's still not defined. There's no perfect definition of political dynasty.
Seems like the spirit of the law is that political dynasties should not be allowed.
Yes.
But there are no implementing rules and regulations, right? Because Congress has to enact it. Sa ngayon, wala pa yon.
Wala pa.
So kumbaga parang palagay mo, ayaw rin i-enact ng Congress.
May madaming matatamaan doon.
Maraming tatamaan.
And no one wants to be the person who removes the jobs from all of his colleagues, di ba?
Just like,
Kaya mo maging person kung unemployed lahat ng mga kaibigan mo, lahat ng mga kasama sa Kongreso. So,
correct,
yes, no one wants
correct.
to take the first step to doing that.
If someone were to introduce the idea in Congress, would you support it?
Well, it depends on what form of political dynasty they would introduce because there are many different types of political dynasties in Congress. There are congressmen with 1 or 2 relatives in Congress, congressmen like me who has no relatives in Congress, in both the lower house and the upper house, but have relatives in positions in terms of local politics. Tapos may mga iba naman na, for example, like Tulfo, where they have 2 in the Senate and 1 or 2, I believe, in the lower house, where it's much larger. Like, for example, current Speaker Boji D has around 9, I believe, members in Isabela and in national government as a family, all in elected positions.
So it depends on the regulation.
Kasi yun ang nasabi na strictly anti-political dynasty or strictly pro-political dynasty because there are many different versions of political dynasties and there are many different
was a long-time public servant, right? PD Barsaga. So, ginusto talaga niya na maging congressman ka?
Parang ganun din. Kasi I actually suggested that, I run for office. Then he's like, okay.
Totoo?
Yes, because in our line of work, politics, it's very hard to find people you can trust, and trust is one of the most valuable commodities in politics. And one of the people you can trust most is your own family.
Okay.
Pag alam niyang may kamag-anak siya within the city council, it will let him rest easy and focus on his work in Congress.
Ang kausap mo naman si Congressman Kiko, malinaw naman at matino, pero talagang palabiro ka lang talaga?
Medyo crazy talaga.
Teka muna, mahirap yan. Baka ikaw ay ma-quote.
Huh?
The headline, I admit I'm crazy. Ano ka ba?
Hindi, okay lang yun.
Okay lang yun?
Lagi naman ako may mga ganong controversial na headlines.
Really? You don't mind?
Yes, kasi pag iniisip nila na crazy ako o siraulo ako, tapos makita nila yung mga interviews, yung mga stances ko on political issues, doon nila maiisip na kailangan ba natin talagang pagkatiwalaan ng sinasabi ng media, o kailangan ba nating should we view the media as just another source of information that we must also scrutinize?
So, kumbaga, feeling mo you will survive all of the bashing?
Kasi pag may nag-release ng mga ganong headlines, di nila ako sinisira. Ang sinisira nila yung sarili nila because they're the type of people who will misinterpret ako and make it seem like that's what it means.
Okay, so kumbaga, you stand by everything that you do. Like for example, yung magpo-post ka na marami kang hawak na pera, you don't see anything wrong with that?
Well, the time back then, I didn't see anything wrong with it, and right now, I still don't see anything wrong with it.
Because?
Kasi ganun talaga ako. I'm proud of that. Masaya ako na marami akong hawak na pera nung panahon na yun. So, post ko.
Nanalo ka ba ng sweepstakes doon? Saan magaling yung pera?
Bigay lang sa akin ni Company.
Ganon.
Parang Christmas bonus o bonus ng baka birthday ko.
Oo.
Pero yung depende kasi yun, pag small amounts, usually yung mga yun yung binibigay niya for Christmas or birthdays. Or minsan pinagsama ng Christmas and birthday.
Pero ngayon, pumipreno ka na rin. Pumipreno ka na rin sa ganong klaseng mga post. I mean, in the light of developments.
Well, may ethics complaint ako, so wag muna. Hindi, pero
Huwag mo na. Correct.
open pa rin ako mag-post ng mga ganong klaseng content kasi wala lang talaga akong opportunity kasi masyado na ako nakafocus on the national issues ngayon. Pero siguro, kung mag-withdraw ako ng pera sa Congress ngayon, mas mayaman na ako since congressman na.
Okay.
Baka mag-post ulit ako.
Okay.
Pag nakulong na si Romualdez, mag-post ulit ako ng...
Pag-usapan natin yan mamaya. Okay. So, categorically,
Okay.
you're saying you're not crazy. You have no mental issues.
Yes.
Okay. Are you willing to go through some kind of assessment? Parang yun ang gusto nilang mangyari, ano?
Well, technically, I'm not saying it categorically. I'm saying it literally na I do not have any issues with my mental health. Kasi I have an LTAP. Alam mo yung LTAP, yung license to own and possess firearms. I have that.
Okay. And you have to go through kind
You
of...
have to go through a neurological test for that.
Oh.
So, actually, baka ako nga lang yung may, and also for the reservists, kailangan mo ding pumasok sa neuro. May neuro requirements din para doon kasi syempre hawak ka ng mga baril doon. But like, our weapons are Cold War era M16s. But they're still
They can still fire a shot. Oo.
most of them can still fire shots.
Even if they're range.
Yun kasi yung naging problema namin sa reserves halos kulang na yung supply namin ng ammunition. Kaya napapuntahan may mga tanong ammunition factory.
Okay. So,
We're getting off.
so that is the proof that there is nothing wrong with your mental state.
Yeah. I mean, technically that should be approved. Hindi ko alam kung actual proof yun because I'm not a licensed psychiatrist. But so far, if they trust me with firearms, then I don't see why the people should not trust me with government.
Ayun, okay. Kasi sometimes some people will be accused of having AIDS, so they're going to have an AIDS test, or in your case, you don't feel that it's necessary. Okay.
Well,
So, what about, paano naman yung panukala ng ibang congressman na dapat daw magkaroon na ng mandatory mental health test for psychological test for everyone who wants to serve the public?
We already have that for the armed forces. So siguro, kung sakaling magkakalanon, ako lang yung isa sa mga hindi kailangan
For elective isa na sa
isa na ako sa mga hindi kailangan
kailangan.
mag-go through nun kasi meron na akong ganun sa health at sa nung nag-reserves ako. So,
But for everybody else, you think okay
everybody
na?
else, well, I mean, yes, because it's also, problema kasi pag baka ma-politicize yung issue pag ganyan eh, since, for example, misdiagnosis, also yung sa psychiatric, we're not a country that heavily focuses on mental health and is not one that heavily understands mental health. Kaya mangyayari dun, if, for example, they are diagnosed of like a certain, like small amounts of neurodivergence, like mild autism or bipolar disorder, but treatable, where they can still serve the public, and di ba kaisipin na ganun mga conditions
Contentious,
siya.
kumbaga.
Diba?
Maraming gray area.
Because there are plenty of people who are perfectly capable of functioning in society despite having mental health conditions and creating, pag sinasabihan mo, ay, apno yung isang tao dahil lang iba siya or dahil lang may mental health condition siya, you're creating a society that's inherently hostile to neurodivergent people, and that's not what we want to do.
That's a new word, neurodivergent. I wonder if I fall under any category there. Okay,
It's possible
neurodivergent.
kasi madaming mga
Parang
ibang
LGBTQIA+.
conditions. Yes, parang ganun siya actually.
Okay, so yung pagiging creative, malikhain ng iyong isipan,
Yes.
lalo pagka ikaw ay ini-interview, alam mo naman kung kailan ka dapat magseryoso at alam mo rin kung kailan ka dapat yung nagbibiro o katanggap-tanggap yung pagbibiro mo. So you know the difference.
Oo, pero ang problema kasi doon, yung ibang tao, iniisip na kailangan seryoso ako sa ganitong sitwasyon. Pero kung isipin ko na hindi ko kailangan seryosohin ito, tapos doon kami nagkaka-issue. Kasi pag masyado kang seryoso, edi parang hindi ka na magiging totoo sa sarili. Lalo na pag kailangan ko seryosohin ng isang bagay na hindi ko naman seryoso.
Oo. Hence the complaints. But ngayon, may mga reklamo sa'yo and sa totoo lang, umalis ka na no, ng majority block and you also resigned from NUP?
Yes.
Right. So you are now like an independent. Okay. So how's that going for you?
Masaya siya kasi I can do whatever I want. Pwede kong sabihin kahit mo gusto kong sabihin. And that is unrestricted truth.
Such as saying that very clearly and loud that Speaker Martin Romualdez is corrupt. Ano ang basis mo?
Ano ang basis?
For saying
Well,
that.
Firstly is so una sa lahat yung connection niya kay Saldico and Annabel and yung connection din niya kay President Marcos. Hindi siya, kasi there are many forms of corruption. Iba-iba ang mga pagkakaintindi natin sa corruption. At para sa akin, corruption by incompetence is equal to corruption by theft or by actual malicious intent. So kung corrupt siya dahil nagnakaw siya ng pera, hindi corrupt siya doon. Pero kung corrupt siya dahil inayaan lang niya tayo manakawan ng pera, dam billion, that's also a form of corruption. Kasi siya yung nasa posisyon na yun, tapos hindi niya pinigilan yung mga congressman na nanakaw ng 100 billion. Either way, dapat siyang
Okay, yun po, narinig niyo po a portion of the interview of Corina Sanchez Rojas kay Congressman Kiko Berzaga, Congressman Kiko Berzaga. So he's the one na neophyte congressman na matapang. He was the one who mentioned the name of former Speaker of the House, si Martin Romualdez. He implicated po ang former Speaker of the House, si Congressman Martin Romualdez sa korupsyon. Itong national budget which has been identified or described by many as the worst corrupt national budget 2035 in the history of the Philippines. And at the same time, he also mentioned the name of Speaker Romualdez sa itong malaking scandal ng flood control projects scandal, anomalous transactions po. And he is also one congressman, bago lang, nagiging congressman po, who also called for the resignation of President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos. And surprise na surprise tayo dahil karamihan ng mga veteran politicians natin, they dare not to mention itong mga pangalan which si Congressman Kiko Barzaga mentioned. Yun po. Yun po. Grabe, no? Grabe. And some politicians, they misinterpret his actions, no? But marami din, particularly ang mga youth, mga Gen Z, no? They appreciated the way Congressman Kiko Barzaga is doing his thing as a responsible congressman. In fact, bukas is calling the Filipino nation, mga bata, mga youth, and others to come out and participate in the rally bukas po, October 12, dyan po sa Maynila. And that will be a national rally po, no? A national rally. Let's see po how big will be the gathering of people bukas dyan po sa Pilipinas. And ano sila po, no? Focus sila sa corruption sa Pilipinas and of course asking for President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos or BBM to resign or to step down. To resign or to step down. So, what do you look at it? How do you see at Congressman? Congressman Kiko Barzaga, based on just what you heard sa interview. Ayun na po, bahala to make your own conclusion. Make your own conclusion po. Kayo nang bahala. Anyway, tuloy natin po itong interview. I will share with you another portion, continuation ito po ng interview ni Corina Sanchez Rojas kay Congressman Kiko Barzaga. Let's watch this.
Either way, dapat siyang makulong dahil doon.
So kumbaga parang, but you're aware that everything, lahat ng mga akusasyon laban kay Senate President, dating Senate President, dating Speaker of the House, will have to be proven in court.
Yes.
At hindi lang dahil pinangalanan sila ng mga contractors.
Pero ang naging problema kasi doon, at nakita ko din with the Filipino peoples, wala na silang tiwala sa justice system natin. And especially ngayon, ang dami nang gustong pumunta sa Forbes Park o sa Malacanang at kayain yung nangyayari sa Nepal. The people are angry at wala na sila talagang tiwala na makukulong or mapapanagot yung mga corrupt officials na involved sa DPWH flood control anomalies.
Bakit pati si presidential son, Congressman Sandro Marcos?
Actually, kilala ko si Sandro Marcos. Imposibleng walang alam yan and susunod na yan na i-investigahan natin.
Ganun ba? Ikaw ba mismo nag-iimbestiga ka?
May legal team ako tapos may mga ibang congressman din akong part ng reformist bloc namin na nagko-contribute din ng mga alam nila. Tapos yung mga iba din, mga dating supporters ni Marcos na gusto nang lumaban sa kanila, nakita na palubog na yung Marcos administration. Kasi, well, to be perfectly honest, nakita mo naman yung nangyayari sa military na ngayon. Posibleng anytime magkaroon ng people power at matanggal na si Marcos.
Are you for a revolutionary government?
Anything that can bring justice to the people, I'm for that. Kasi pag nalaman natin na it's very likely na protector talaga si Marcos kay Romualdez, kay Sandro Marcos. So if President Marcos cannot do his job properly, then yes, I'm definitely for removal of his position.
Okay, but do you give him credit for starting it all? You had a comment about that earlier.
Yes, he did not start it all. At that point, alam na ng mga tao na may mga problema sa flood control anomalies. Alam na nila na maraming magnanakaw sa DPWH. Sinabi lang niya yun para siya yung mabigyan ng credit. But like, as I have said and as the people have said, hindi siya yung wala talaga siyang ginagawa doon. He's not doing anything. It's been months. Tapos wala pang nakukulong. Wala pang yung investigation tuwing may magsabi ng Martin Romualdez. Yun yung iimbestigahan nila, imbes na si Martin Romualdez. Kaya wala talagang tiwala yung mga tao sa administrasyon ni President Marcos at alam nilang hindi makukulong si Martin Romualdez habang si Marcos ang presidente.
So itong ganitong mga pronouncements mo, yan siguro yung basis no, why they think it is enough to construe inciting to sedition.
Yes, because
Ganun ba yun? Oo.
But I'm not inciting. I speak for the people's sentiments. Ito ang nakakita ko na sinasabi ng mga ordinaryong tao, ng mga mamamiyang wala nang tiwala sa gobyerno yun. And if that is inciting to sedition, then I will willingly go to jail for that and be imprisoned. Kasi yun talaga ang nakikita ng mga tao. At kung lahat ng magsasabi doon ay inciting to sedition, hindi mauubos na tayo sa Pilipinas. We'll run out of citizens if we're going to say that because everyone is saying the exact same thing. Martin Romualdez is close to President Marcos, and as long as he is close to President Marcos, he will never go to jail or face justice for any of his actions.
Okay.
And the same applies to Saldico, to Sandro Marcos, or to anyone who could also be possibly involved with
But is there a trail to Congressman Sandro?
Well, just as how Zaldico, that might pwede pang English ito kasi, just how Zaldico has a trail to Martin Romualdez will have a trail to Sandro Marcos. Kaya kailangan nilang i-defend si Martin Romualdez kasi pag nahuli na siya, si Sandro Marcos na ang susunod. Kasi siya yung House Majority Leader, siya yung pumili kay Martin Romualdez para siya yung sabi na iboto si Martin Romualdez at siya din yung pumili kay Bogie D para maging House Speaker. Kaya siya yung next na magiging target kung sakaling mahuli si Sandro.
Siya daw, patatawagin na daw siya sa Senado, Speaker Martin Romualdez. Ano ang tingin mo doon sa naging talumpati ni former Senate President Chis Escudero?
Kaya yung naging statement niya.
Oo.
Well, I think he said what a lot of people already know. I mean, alam naman natin na may involvement si Martin Romualdez. Diyan, imposible walang involvement siya. So, that's good. And I hope the other senators will have the bravery. Hindi ko alam kung ano yung meron kay Martin Romualdez na takot yung iba. But it's what we need to do for the people. And if we do not catch Martin Romualdez or anyone, kahit nga si Saldico, hindi mawawala eh. If we do not catch anyone, then this will happen again because parang sinasabi natin na okay lang magnakaw kayo kasi hindi naman kayo mawawala eh. Wala namang mangyayari sa inyo pag nagnakaw kayo. At mas lalakas yung loob ng mga buhayan na magnakaw sila, mga congressman.
So if you are pro-Martin, are you necessarily anti-Chis and vice versa?
Hindi naman, kasi hindi naman siya based on political colors. You can want justice for... Wait, teka lang, what do you mean? Anti-Chis?
If you are anti-Martin, are you necessarily pro-Chis? Or vice versa, if you are anti-Chis, you are necessarily pro-Martin?
Technically, hindi naman siya based sa political colors, but at the same time, kailangan mo din you have to be pragmatic on these matters. So, hindi naman na pangunahin natin yung pinaka-corrupt and pinaka-malapit na danger sa atin. Okay, so kung sakaling may issue din si Chis or nagnakaw din siya, we can investigate him, but the money that he has stolen would be barya lang yun kumpara sa nanakaw sa DPWH flood control project. So, pwede natin hudiin siya after that.
So kung kailangan managot.
Right now, we have to catch the biggest problems.
So you're saying that get the biggest fish
Biggest
first.
crocodile first.
Crocodile nga pala, hindi pala fish. Piranha. Ayun. Okay. Nanawagan ka nga ba talaga na sunugin ang Kongreso during the rally there?
Sabi ko, well, technically, wala ako sa rally, so wala akong sinabi doon. Pero ang sinabi ko, huwag niyo munang sunugin. Parang joke-joke lang. Kasi magsasata pa ako, pero hindi naman ako pinayagan sa privilege speech ko. Kaya, kung susunugin nila, hindi, not my problem. Kasi may ethics complaint na ako, plano nila akong tanggalin sa Kongreso. So, kahit naman sunugin nila yun, wala na ako doon by that time. Or,
You're ready to be extricated from Congress?
Kasi sila naman yung may hawak ng Kongreso, sila Martin Romualdez, Sandro Marcos, kaya kung plano lang tanggalin ako through ethics committee, then posible din yun.
What will happen if that happens? Who will take over for your district?
Possibly re-election siya. So baka pwedeng tumakbo si Mayor Jenny. I'm not sure about incumbent officials, pero posibleng tumakbo si Mayor Jenny or isa sa mga dating the person ko si Mayor Jenny tatakbo si Vice Mayor Ted Quesada. Yung magiging bagong mayor ngayon. But that's a possibility. But ang plano ko kasi may mga ethics complaint din ako laban sa mga ibang congressman at baka sila nga yung ma-expel ko because it's my vote. And loyalty of Congress quickly shifts. So those are
Oo. Pinapangunahan ito ni Congresswoman Janet Garin. Nawala na yata ng pasensya, ano?
medyo ganun siya. Pero
Oo.
okay lang naman.
Okay lang.
Very stressful situation talaga sa Kongreso ngayon. And I can understand her stress.
Well, do you think it's self-inflicted? I mean, for you.
Para sa akin o yung sa kanya?
Are you stressed?
Not really.
Not really, really. Oh. What's
chill
the
lang.
secret?
Well, normal lang because what's the worst that could happen? Patayin nila ako or pakulong nila ako. Like everyone dies or everyone loses their freedom at some point. It's ultimately all inconsequential.
Right kan, Brian?
Alright, yun po, narinig natin si Congressman Kiko Barzaga. How do you look at it? How do you look at it? How you look at him? Is he okay? Or mentally disturbed or what? Pero para sa akin, when you look at him, the way he talks, the way he do things, my sense, may mga puntos talaga po siya. And he's not afraid. In the event he will be expelled from the Congress, no? He's willing to accept it. Kaya nga, sabi niya, no? If something will happen to him sa Kongreso, so baka there will be a re-election sa lugar nila po, no? Sa lugar nila. And he's willing to be put in jail for what he's doing now. Because he's doing it for the country. Yan po, no? Yan po. So may mga puntos talaga. May mga puntos, no? I don't know him that much, no? Pero if you look at him, the way he do things as a neophyte congressman dyan sa House of Representatives po, he is one of a kind. He is one of a kind, no? Everybody was shocked. It's a normal reaction. When here comes a politician, he don't follow the traditional way of being a politician, doing things the traditional way as a politician, as a congressman. People tend to think, he's crazy, no? Remember during the time of sorry to say that. Remember during the time of former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, when he became the president, he was elected. Criticisms like it's not a statement. Because iba si Tatay Digong. When he talk galing sa puso niya po. At sa kabungangan niya po, iba. No? He will even say bad words. Which, ang mga Filipinos, we are not used to it. Kasi noon, ganito tayo. Now, why this Duterte is talking the language of yung lengguwahe ng mga kriminal? Because we want to make sure that whatever he says sa mga kriminal, they will understand. That's why he is using the same language ng mga kriminal. See? And people during the time, early stage, they could not accept it. Until finally, we realize na tama pala si Tatay Digong. And here comes another one, Congressman Kiko Barzaga, a young congressman. He's only around 26 years old. The way he talks, he don't care. The way his body language, the way he uses his identity as a cat lover, meow, meow, sabi niya. So normally it's not a usual thing for a congressman. No? Kaya nga nabigla ang mga tao. Nabigla ang mga ibang congressman. But if you look at it, whatever he says, may puntos talaga. May puntos talaga po. He's so brave enough to even mention ang mga pangalan which many politicians feared or dare not mention the names of their colleagues dito po sa scandal. So, kayong bahala. Kayong bahala po how you look at it, you judge him. Ang mga opinion ninyo po, I will leave it to you. Ang role ko lang dito po is to share with you mga important detalles or details po, no? For you to be able to understand the real situation ngayon dyan po sa Pilipinas. No? So, okay, sa today ngayon, and siguro hindi na tayo magtagal. So, before I will conclude, I would like to greet the Happy Fiesta, no? Señora La Virgen del Pilar, ang patron saint ng Zamboanga City. Tomorrow, they are going to celebrate ang Fiesta Pilar dyan po sa Zamboanga. And normally, during Fiesta Pilar, October 12 po, no? We normally, or they normally experience rain, no? In the morning or in the afternoon po, or during the day. So, ingat lang tayo po, no? Ingat lang tayo dyan sa Zamboanga. And it's a month-long celebration which started October 1st. And bukas, yon talaga po ang date na ang celebration ng Fiesta Pilar sa Zamboanga. So, to all Zamboangueños, to all residents of Zamboanga, I would like to say Happy Fiesta to all of you. And sana enjoy kayo po. And that celebration will be problem-free, memorable, and a very happy fiesta sa inyong lahat. So hanggang dito na lang ang Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico. Once again, I would like to say thank you very much for making me a part of your day today. Enjoy ang weekend holidays natin. And don't forget to pray, include sa prayers natin po ang mga biktima ng earthquake dyan po sa Cebu at saka sa Davao, ang mga flood victims sa iba-ibang parte ng Pilipinas po. And let's pray for peace in the Philippines, peace in Malaysia, peace in the world. Hanggang dito na lang. Malaysia, Sabah, the Philippines, God bless us all, and I'll see you in my next episode. Bye.